You're listening to Stress-Free German, where we use advanced language learning techniques to get you speaking German the right way, right away.
Welcome to Lesson 3 of Stress-Free German. I want to make sure everyone here has listened to the first 2 lessons of this course and that you've seen the images we've created. Because if you skip lessons or go out of order, the method's not going to work for you. All right, with that out of the way, los geht's. We'll get to review in a moment, but let's start with a new word. Listen and repeat after our native speaker.
Regal.
Again.
Regal.
To spell that using English letters, it's R-E-G-A-L.
Regal.
And it's that L I'd like to work with for a minute, because the German L is a bit different from the English one. Essentially, Germans are putting their tongue on the roof of their mouth just behind the upper teeth. It's also kind of flattened a bit, so compare. English, L. German,
L.
English, Al. German,
Al.
and how about that German R? There are 2 R sounds in German. The easy one resembles an English ah, and often comes at the end of words, as in
Mutter.
and.
Vater.
The more challenging R is pronounced in the back of the throat. Try to bring your tongue back, relax it, and then force air through. They describe it as like a dry gargle. So the letters R-O-T sound like
Rot.
Rot,
and R-A-T
Rad.
Rad,
Try those again.
Rot, Rad,
Rot. Rad.
And once again, today's new word.
Regal,
We'll get to the meaning in a minute, but first let's do some review. Ask a friend, is this your dog?
ist das dein Hund?
I see your dog.
Ich sehe deinen Hund.
Remember, we're doing something now to your dog, so the supporting words change. Right? The fist into the palm. Is this his juice?
Ist das sein Saft?
Ist das sein Saft?
I want his orange juice.
Ich will seinen Orangensaft.
Ich will seinen Orangensaft.
Where is the refrigerator?
Wo ist der Kühlschrank?
I have the refrigerator.
Ich habe den Kühlschrank.
Where is the park?
Wo ist der Park?
I see the park.
Ich sehe den Park.
Okay, excellent. On to today's main image. Today's nouns are all neuter. This means we'll be using the article das when we use the words in simple declarative phrases. So imagine a glass of beer and someone's smartphone on a shelf near a window. Outside the window is a house. One more time. A glass of beer, a smartphone, on a shelf, by a window, and outside is a house. So let's hear those first three concrete nouns in German.
Bier. Handy. Regal.
Again,
Bier, Handy, Regal,
notice that ah sound at the end of this word.
Bier.
That's the easy German R.
Bier,
Next is,
Handy.
which is a fitting name for a smartphone. After all, it's a very handy object, right?
Handy,
And then
Regal.
that was our word from the start of today's lesson. As you repeat the word, envision our shelf by the window.
Regal,
Now let's add our neuter article. So say, the beer,
das Bier,
the smartphone,
das Handy,
the shelf,
das Regal,
and our last two concrete neuter nouns. Envision that window,
Fenster.
Fenster,
and that house outside.
Haus.
Haus,
Let's add the article. So say, the window,
das Fenster,
the house,
das Haus.
Did you know there's actually an English word, defenestrate, which means to throw someone or something out a window? Ouch, but there's your connection. It's an actual word from defenestrate to,
Fenster.
and that leads me to our tip of the day.
And now your tip of the day from Stress Free German.
So the tip today is try to be flexible when processing German words. What I mean by that is to understand that there are hundreds, probably thousands of words that the two languages have in common, what we call cognates. Some are obvious, like house and beer.
Haus und Bier,
But because English and German have been separated for hundreds of years now, the similarities between many other cognates is sometimes harder to spot. That's why I recommend being flexible. Here, can you figure out which body parts these are? Listen.
Arm.
That was an arm.
Hand.
That was hand.
Finger.
finger,
Fuß,
foot,
Schulter,
shoulder. But now take that last one. I can imagine someone saying, well, that doesn't sound like shoulder to me. Where's the O sound? Where's the D? And I see your point, believe me, but that kind of rigid thinking is going to hold you back. So as you watch those videos of comprehensible input, listen with a flexible ear. Like, that kind of sounded like the word witty, and that one kind of sounded like wash or I miss, and so on. We'll talk about this a lot more. For now, just try to stay nice and flexible. So we took that break, right? Partly to share an important tip, but also to force you to think about something else. So let's see now how many of today's new words you recall. Hit pause and try to say them. Be sure to visualize today's new image. That beer and the phone on a shelf, near a window, and outside is a house. Say, the beer.
das Bier,
The smartphone.
das Handy,
The shelf.
das Regal,
The window.
das Fenster,
The house.
das Haus.
Okay, I need you to listen very closely to this next point. This is the main takeaway from today's lesson. We use das to convey the neuter noun, but when we say a neuter noun, we use ein. Listen. This is a beer.
Das ist ein Bier.
This is a house.
Das ist ein Haus.
This is a window.
Das ist ein Fenster.
So ein isn't just for masculine nouns. Ein is also for neuter nouns. So hold on, because that's really important. Say it again with me.
Ein,
Isn't just for masculine nouns,
ein,
is also for neuter nouns. So let's practice switching between using a and the with neuter nouns. Imagine a kid who is excited by everything he sees, so when you pass by a house, he calls out, "A house!"
ein Haus,
Mom tells him, "The house is good."
Das Haus ist gut.
A beer!
ein Bier,
Mom frowns and tells him, "The beer is not good."
Das Bier ist nicht gut.
A smartphone!
ein Handy,
The smartphone is good.
Das Handy ist gut.
How would that exchange go with a masculine noun? A dog.
Ein Hund.
The dog is good.
Der Hund ist gut.
Did you say
Der.
excellent? Okay, one more time. Let's see. How about a refrigerator?
Ein Kühlschrank.
The refrigerator is good.
Der Kühlschrank ist gut.
I'm telling you, if you're following along with all this and getting these all correct, you are doing great. But of course, now let me put you to the test. Let's say the kid points to some object and you don't happen to know its gender. For example, he calls out,
Ein Adler.
now I'll give you this. It's not feminine. Okay? But given that we heard him say,
Ein Adler.
do we know which gender it is? No, we don't. Why? Because both masculine and neuter nouns take ein in this kind of phrase. But then his mom says,
Ja, der Adler ist schön.
ah, now we know that it's a masculine noun. Uh-oh, the kid is pointing again.
Ein Pferd.
Tell me, what's the gender of?
Pferd.
Say, I don't know yet. But then his mom says,
Ja, das Pferd ist schön.
ah, I heard das. So now we know it's neuter. And notice something else. I'm not burdening you with the meaning of these new words because at this stage, believe it or not, meaning is really just a distraction. It is. What you want to really focus on is how the language works. And you guys have already made excellent progress with that. More in a moment. So, the last major point for today is that, along with ein, neuter nouns also take
Mein, dein, sein.
Again, for now, just listen.
Ist das mein Bier?
Ist das dein Handy?
Ist das sein Haus?
Can you try that? Ask, is this my beer?
Ist das mein Bier?
Ask a friend, is this your cell phone?
Ist das dein Handy?
Is this his house?
Ist das sein Haus?
Imagine you're sitting in a cafeteria as Tanya brings drinks to the table.
Das ist mein Bier und das ist dein Orangensaft.
But then Carl asks,
Wo ist mein Wasser?
any guess what he's asking for? Right, he said, where is my water? He used,
Mein
so does that mean
Wasser.
is masculine? Not at all. It only tells us that it's not feminine. Anyway, Tanya's eyebrows raise up in surprise. She hurries back to the counter and brings Carl a glass of water.
Entschuldigung, Karl. Hier ist dein Wasser.
Tanja, ist das Wasser warm oder kalt?
You probably figured out that he's asking, Tanya, is the water warm or cold? But the real victory is if you spotted the
Das.
right before,
Wasser.
and realized, hey, now I know it's neuter.
Ist das Wasser warm oder kalt?
I realize that we only just encountered these words, but still, for fun, how might you ask, is the apple juice warm or cold?
Ist der Apfelsaft warm oder kalt?
Okay, let's finish with a quick gender review. For each word that I prompt you with, you just say, where is the whatever, and try to see it in its picture. The image of the park, then the image of the foods by the refrigerator, and then today's things by the window image. And as always, hit pause if you need more time. You ready? Cheese.
Wo ist der Käse?
Shelf.
Wo ist das Regal?
Table.
Wo ist der Tisch?
Window.
Wo ist das Fenster?
House.
Wo ist das Haus?
Refrigerator.
Wo ist der Kühlschrank?
Next lesson, we're going to learn a new trick, the ultimate way to figure out, just by listening, whether a noun is masculine or neuter. I'll explain next time, so see you then.
To access the listening exercises and download the PDF for today's lesson, please head over to stressfreegerman.com.